US Soccer on TNT is presented by Marriott Bonvoy. We are just 59 days away from the US World Cup squad being named and 75 days from the tournament's opening game. Mauricio Pochettino's men are on a 5-match unbeaten run as they arrive here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on Belgium. Kyle, moments of big opportunity for many of these players. Some on both sides have experienced World Cups before, including Christian Pulisic for the US and Kevin De Bruyne for Belgium.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing to watch these two talents in person. Two former Chelsea players that had much different careers after Chelsea than when they were there, but two talents that are going to be the key to the match today for sure.
Atlanta is a city that has soccer running through its veins, and today it provides the stage for another significant step towards a home World Cup for the United States. We're underway here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with Belgium kicking things off here. A first meeting between these nations since the 2014 World Cup round of 16, which Belgium won by 2-1 after extra time. And Kevin De Bruyne telling us yesterday the thing that stands out most from that match is that his side should have won it in 90 minutes, and they suffered some tricky moments towards the end. For Mauricio Pochettino's United States, 10 changes from the 5-1 win that rounded out 2025. It was against Uruguay in Tampa in November. Only Mark McKenzie started that game. He was captain that night against Uruguay, and he starts again today. 3 players appeared in that last match. Tessman and Balogun, making substitute appearances, are in the 11 today here as Tessman plays it forward. And Anana gets a touch to it, one of a number of Premier League players in the starting 11. Doku on the ball now of Manchester City is another one. The Kuiper, the left back from Brighton as well. And a couple of players missing from the US lineup due to injury. No Chris Richards today. Miles Robinson not in the squad either. De Ketelaere trying to get in around the back of Ream down the right side as De Ketelaere cuts it back for Salamakers. And out it goes for a throw here. Great to see Anthony Robinson back for the United States.
Absolutely crucial. He's such a key player in the past. We talked about it in pregame. I mean, Pochettino has talked a lot about what you've done at club, what you've done in the past, what your name is doesn't matter. But Robinson, you can't help but put him at the top of the pecking order based on his consistent performances. 495 days since Anthony Robinson last played for the United States in a Nations League quarter-final against Jamaica. Down the right side comes Meunier. Meunier's ball into the middle. Ream tries to clear it away. Driven in from the edge of the box and over the top of the bar there by Raska, the Rangers midfielder. We were talking about it definitely as we were going over lineups. It's going to be a lot of interchanging up top, and Ream does well to deflect that first one. It's bouncing at a difficult height, get contact on it, but you're going to see Doku and De Bruyne, just so much interchanging in that top 4. So important that the US are communicating and closing down those spaces and finding their men.
Kuiper got ahead to that one as it was sent forward by Ware, looking for McKennie. It's Ware playing in the right-back role today for the United States. Familiar position for him of late. He started 7 of Marseille's last 9 games on the right side of a back 4, Tim Ware. Here's Robinson on the left. Inside it goes for Tanner Tessman. Ream with the captain's armband today, the 27th time he's captained the United States, the 17th time under Mauricio Pochettino. Ware can't quite keep that one in play. Of course, Tim Ware, a central figure the last time the United States played here. The only other game they've played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Copa America in 2024. They lost by 2-1 against Panama. Ware's red card 18 minutes in was a huge turning point. Balogun, who starts today, gave the US the lead that day. Turner, who is in goal today, went off injured at half-time. Belgium unbeaten in 9. Haven't lost since March the 20th of 2025 in a Nations League game against Ukraine. Here's Johnny Cardoso with the ball forward. Now wide to the left side, Anthony Robinson pushing towards the left side of the box here. Cuts him well and laid that one back across. Couldn't quite find Pulisic, or McKennie was in there as well. And Mounier will look to clip this one down the right side up towards halfway, where Ream, looking to defend, gets a touch to it, and Tessman drops back and gets that one towards Mark McKenzie. Matt Turner started all 4 games at the World Cup in 2022. He's looking to try and force his way into Maurizio Pochettino's starting 11. He hasn't played in the last 12 games. Of course, Matt Freese has had that #1 jersey. Turner's last start was the 4-0 loss against Switzerland back at the start of June of last year. And McKennie trying to get forward down the right side, pushing that one up towards Balogun, who was chasing, but Belgium able to get it away. Luke and Kyle in the broadcast booth, and Melissa Ortiz is pitch side, and quite a match on hand this afternoon, Melissa.
Quite a match, and you feel the energy down here on the pitch. And I actually spoke to President Cindy Parlow-Cohn before the game, and she was so excited. She said coming to the stadium, you felt that World Cup energy already buzzing.
Of course, this is a World Cup stadium. Will host the semi-final. This is Doku down the left side.
Really subtle right there, but Tillman does so well to go help way out in that 1v1 position the boys were talking about. You got to get help over there. Doku is so explosive.
It's gone out for a throw for Belgium on the far side. Doku with 7 goals and 39 caps, scored 5 goals in World Cup qualifying, including a couple of braces against Kazakhstan in September, Liechtenstein in November. It'll be Belgium's 4th World Cup in a row, second longest run in team history. They qualified as the group winners, 2 points ahead of second place Wales. Belgium going unbeaten in qualifying. Rudi Garcia, former club head coach who is in his first international job, took over in January of 2025 after a couple of decades in club management, won the Ligue 1 Cup double in France with Lille. Was at Marseille and Roma as well. We're chasing forward down the right, hooks it towards Pulisic.
Well, the US worked on this a lot in training the other day, with Tessman coming and joining that back line and almost building out of a back 3 at times and playing between these lines right here. This is, and you can see Doku frustrated, getting that medium block disconnected, playing between that. And then as that back line tries to press, that's where you've got these balls over the top, and boy, it does so well to hit it first time. It's just a little high, as you can see here. Pulisic just can't get the height to knot it under the bar. A nice little sequence.
De Catalara out to Doku down the left side. Doku running at Mark McKenzie here. Belgium causing trouble as Ream is able to clear it, and then all the way towards halfway by Tanner Tessman, headed back forward by Mekele, the Bruges defender. Anana of Aston Villa in with the challenge. That's going to be a free kick given by the referee from Uruguay today, Esteban Ostojic, the 43-year-old, spending a decade on the FIFA list. It's his first US game. Anana there just catching Malik Tillman. 27th cap for Malik Tillman today. Mounier nods that one back, and Robinson just can't quite get it at the byline, and out for a first corner.
Right there, Tim Marine, and you'll see Turner do it as well. They stopped the build-up a lot of times yesterday when they turned the ball over cheaply, and if we look at the games that they performed really well in the last game, there was still those sloppy little out-of-the-back passes that were just a little lazy or into too tight a pressure. Of course, they want to have the confidence to build up, but every now and then that ball over the top is on, and Ream sees it.
Tillman comes across to take it. Played every minute of the Gold Cup last year. They go short this time. Pulisic linking up here with Tillman. Lays it across. It's Anthony Robinson to drive it in. Good save. Lemans, the Manchester United keeper, getting down well. He's in today with Thibaut Courtois out injured. Here's De Bruyne. De Bruyne's crossfield ball. Searching out Salamakers, the teammate of Christian Pulisic at Milan. Here's Doku. Salamakers. What about Robinson with that right foot strike from outside the box?
There, he saw it late too. He sort of scrambles to get to it, but hit that sweetly. And then that transition. Look at US back in this this lower block. I mean, so quick. Weston McKennie getting back. I mean, those non-negotiables, and Pochettino frustrated in the past. That competitive spirit wasn't there. I mean, right out of the gate, you can see the work rate is there from the U.S.
De Bast wide for Meunier down the right, 34 years old now. Thomas Meunier. Brought down by De Bruyne. He's won the corner on the right side. Kevin De Bruyne, who will be heading to his 4th World Cup, scored against the US in 2014. He said, of course, a World Cup means as much as ever, even if you've played in 3. But with the fact that now his kids are old enough to be able to see him play in it, it makes it even more special to some extent, and the fact he knows he hasn't got too long left. De Bruyne out towards the edge of the box. Salamakers brings it down.
Here's a look at that last U.S. chance. De Bruyne just wondering where the help is coming from. And look at Jeddah, doesn't expect it initially, but just steps into it. Catches it sweetly and also goes through a crowd, so just a little difficult for Lemons, who sees it late. Palms it away, but this is the position the U.S. they need to bait out that first line of confrontation. Just don't feel like you got to play into that tight area. Look at how compact it is in the center of the field. Just probe.
Guys, it's impressive to see that confidence that Anthony Robinson has, especially after 495 days since his last U.S. match. Yesterday I saw his face glooming, smiling when I spoke to him. He's so happy to be back here. There was a point where he doubted from injury of playing in this upcoming World Cup. Of course, he's competing for the spot, but to see him in action right now and full of confidence, that's definitely what Mauricio wants to see out of him.
Yeah, Melissa, he's looking good.
He played every minute of all 4 games for the US at the World Cup in 2022. 6 players starting today that were in that World Cup squad in Qatar. Turner, one of them here, gets it back. Ware, Ream, Robinson, McKennie and Pulisic. You can scan the QR code to vote on Bleacher Report and the BR app. As Robinson picks it up here down the left side and plays that one in towards the edge of the box. And De Bruyne up towards halfway. Doku up against Ware. Meunier. Support from Salamakers down the right side. 2 goals in 21 caps. Meunier coming forward as well. He, of course, has plenty of World Cup experience.
Salamakers, he's wonderful, so balanced, right, left foot, just confident, wiry, deceptive, so good at taking players on. Got to stand your feet and move fast.
Salamakers assisting one of Christian Pulisic's 2 goals in a 3-2 win against Torino back in December. Doku, the player, down.
Just smart from Doku. He sees the challenge coming in and just puts that plant foot down. He knows it's not enough to knock him over, but enough to, if he hits the ground, get a foul.
Kevin De Bruyne standing over it. A Napoli man now, 34 years old. 115 caps coming into this one today. And now the US might break clear. Where though runs into trouble. De Bruyne. Mekela's ball forward down the left side. Try to find Doku, who rolls that one through, but De Ketelaere would have been offside anyway. Matt Turner yesterday telling us that he feels that his performances this season and his performances in training mean that he has earned this start here today. He said maybe he lost his way a little bit over the course of the last 18 months when at times he didn't play as much as he would have wanted to. Christian Pulisic racing forward here. He's got Balogun to the left. The way opens up for Pulisic, who drives it wide.
Those little pockets right there. I mean, this is where just the patience, the composure of someone like Tim Ream out of the back is so helpful. And Pulisic, Balogun does a wonderful job running and opening up the space so he has that chance, but you can see he just comes across it a little bit, doesn't catch it with his laces as he wants to.
And from down here, Mauricio just applauded Tim Ream and Anthony for that type of movement.
Mel, look at you looking, flying her all white behind Pochettino.
You see me?
We got you.
Mackenzie's ball forward. Weston McKennie looks to turn. He's got space. Finds Ware down that right side into the path of Weston McKennie. One back there by Tillman. Now Ware once again. McKennie looking to drive towards the byline. What a wonderful season he's had, and Mauricio Pochettino even joked that Juventus right now are Weston McKennie plus 10. McKennie, the heartbeat of that team in many different positions, as Robinson plays this one back for Pulisic down the left. And out it goes for a second US corner here, 15 minutes in at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
When having Melissa right behind Pochettino, the great part about that position is Pochettino is very communicative. He'll pick up some things on the sideline, and he's been off his feet early.
So Tillman to take this corner for the United States. Plenty of movement inside the box as that one is flicked away. And Belgium looking to break clear here. De Bruyne has made a run down the right. De Catalara as well here. And De Bruyne couldn't get on that one as Robinson can bring it back forward the other way. Wide open right now here in Atlanta. Balogun in space down the left side here for the US. Not too many players forward in support. Robinson continued that run. And Anthony Robinson is able, I think, to win the corner. The question marks potentially about offside. There is VAR here today, by the way. VAR is Tatiana Guzman of Nicaragua. But this is a third corner here for the United States.
Hey, Kyle, before you just mentioned my vantage point from being right next to Mauricio, what I just witnessed was awesome. He actually stepped onto the field to pat Christian Pulisic after that defensive recovery. I've never seen him do that before.
Don't say that too loud. The fourth official's going to look over you.
Tillman then with this delivery. Third corner in towards that front post, all the way towards McKennie at the back. What a stop from Lomans. The Manchester United keeper comes up big at close range to deny the United States an opener. Here's De Bruyne. He's got Doku ahead of him to the left side. De Bruyne runs at the heart of the United States back line. There's no way through. De Catalara. Now De Bruyne on the right. Johnny Cardoso looking to clear it away. Cardoso's first cap since the final Gold Cup group game against Haiti back on June the 22nd. McKennie, though, can't quite keep that one in possession. Carried forward by De Kuiper. The Brighton left-back finds Doku. So dangerous here, Jeremy Doku towards the byline, and that's gone out for a Belgium corner on the far side.
And well done from Tim Weah. Take a look at this last chance here. I mean, this is so good from McKennie because that's coming up and spinning. It's so hard to keep that low enough to get a volley, and he just collects it perfectly. And then it's just making himself big, just hoping it hits him in that frame. And Weston McKennie hoping he was going to get one right there. He's been in excellent goal-scoring form with club.
11 international goals for Weston McKennie, the 27-year-old from Little Elm in Texas. As De Bruyne goes short here to Doku on the far side. Salamakas across to the middle. De Kuiper and then driven from distance.
And here's a look. I mean, good footwork, gets over there. And you can see just when he turns himself, he makes himself big, has no idea that that's coming to hit his right hand. Looking over at Guzan to say, he's in the booth with me. Brad, good save? Yeah, we got thumbs up from the man who built the building.
Mr. Atlanta, Brad Guzan. Even did a big speech to the crowd on the video board before the game. Highly produced.
He's everywhere.
Hype man, yeah. But Manchester United have been having their struggles and needed a keeper, and they've got one in Lamans for sure. This is Balogun from distance. Loman's got a clean sheet on his Premier League debut against Sunderland in early October and played every minute since for Manchester United. The yellow card is coming here. Weston McKennie not happy about it.
That's the right call. I mean, Doku, you're going to see in a second just how quick and deceptive he is, also his strength. And Weston's got some help coming, but it's just right here after he's beat, just how long he's holding on to that jersey. If he lets go a little earlier, he probably gets away with it, but the referee seeing he's stopping the transition there.
Across the back it comes. Here's the Sporting defender, De Bast, 25th cap for him. He was in the World Cup squad in Qatar, but didn't actually make an appearance. De Bast again going back to Lomans. Got his first call-up last March. Joined Manchester United from Antwerp in September. And Weah gets across to nod that one out of play. Almost a perfect situation for Mauricio Pochettino with Tim Weah, the way he wants his right-sided defender to play, the qualities that Weah has, the fact he's learning that defensive aspect at club level as well right now, getting the games there.
And you just get the sense, listen, coaches have favorites. They can't help it. And you just get the sense Pochettino, he just wants to find where Tim Weah fits in. And the beauty is that back three, a back four, I mean, Tim Weah can thrive in both of those formations. You don't have to make a sub. You don't have to make a tactical change by bringing someone on the field. He can switch into both of those comfortably.
Salamakers with the ball forward down the right side, and Mounier gets it back to Salamakers here. Johnny Cardoso, Robinson, US play their way up towards halfway here. Christian Pulisic is kept in play by Mounier. De Bruyne out to Doku on the far side. Doku against Tim Weah here as Doku goes one way then the other, and Tim Weah keeps up with him. The goal kick is the outcome as well.
Challenges with his left foot, puts it right back off of Doku. Really well done there from Tim Weah. I mean, the greatest defenders, and I'd say that, you look at some of the players in Premier League across the world, they wait for that mistake to happen. Maldini over the years, and you have a player that's excellent. He's waiting for you to dive in, waiting for you to make the challenge, and Weah just stays with him until the ball gets far enough where he can make a challenge.
Matt Turner with the ball high towards halfway, couldn't quite get that one to the head of McKennie. McKennie diving in, out it goes for a throw on the far side.
Nothing wrong with this, not even a foul.
As we head into a cooling break in preparation for the World Cup this summer.
They got AC in here.
Weston McKennie still in conversation there with the referee. It was interesting, Christian Pulisic was asked yesterday at the press conference about Weston McKennie, the fact that McKennie is playing so well right now. Has anything changed? Does he seem more confident? And Christian Pulisic said there's certainly no vibe change with Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie is Weston McKennie. But he said he's so proud of the success that he's got, but it doesn't surprise him. And that Weston McKennie, every time he gets knocked down, and all the questions that you hear about future at Juventus, he always comes back and proves people wrong. And what a season he's having. And the fact it's been in multiple different positions makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, Luke, we talked about it during pregame, and you've heard me talk about it since we've been covering these friendlies. Whether people are high on Weston McKennie or down on Weston McKennie, I always looked at him as a star of this team, and he is the star of the team right now. Christian Pulisic is the poster boy, and Christian Pulisic is a phenomenal talent that may go on to be the best player that's ever played for this country. But the best thing for Christian Pulisic is Weston McKennie has met all of the adversity, all of the challenges, hasn't listened to any of the naysayers, all the noise off the field. And in Italy, it is very easy to fail out. And there's multiple times that he was set up to react the wrong way and fail out. He's risen to the occasion each and every time. And we noticed this last camp. Came in so fit last camp. I mean, and you can see it now. He's covered a tremendous amount of space. And Melissa down there right now, I wonder if You close enough to hearing this that Pochettino's saying?
I'm trying to eavesdrop, guys, but it's a little far. But on Weston, I mean, it's impressive to see his maturity over the course of years, especially since Qatar. I mean, at Juventus, he's on fire. I know you guys talked about it in the pregame, but when asked about how he's able to mimic his form from club to the national team, he says it's different. But what you can mimic is your effort and your confidence and your ability to help the team despite the differentiating tactics when it comes to the coaches. But that's what you're seeing here. But what I love seeing him do is his leadership even. He's always been that leader, especially with his personality, but you're seeing it in his play and in his demeanor. And that's what the balance I love in between him and Christian Pulisic.
We just saw the QR code on the screen, which you can scan to vote on the Bleacher Report and the BR app. And the question was about which playoff team you want to make it through to the World Cup. So over 50% for Italy. You've been voting a few times, I guess.
they don't limit how many times you can vote, it turns out. Yeah, my Italian passport will, if they get into the tournament, have me rooting for two teams.
Those playoffs the other day, eliminating some teams, making a few things clearer, but all will be decided in the next few days, including we'll find out who the United States will play as the playoff team at SoFi in that final group game against Turkey or Kosovo. Of course, they had experience against Turkey in Hartford last year, that 2-1 win for Turkey that day. So they'll find out that final group opponent on Tuesday when the playoffs wrap up. Tuesday, right back here in Atlanta, the United States will take on Portugal, and by the time the World Cup rolls around, they will have played 11 consecutive games against World Cup teams. Can't say they haven't had preparation of the right level, mix of different teams from different confederations that they've played against, two UEFA teams this time around. Salamakers to Onana, led by Anthony Robinson, as Onana picks it back up for Salamakers down the right side, in towards De Bruyne. Salamakers skips that first challenge, then tried to get past Johnny Cardoso. Is Doku against Ware. Tessman back defending there on the far side as it comes back for De Bruyne, who drives it in. It takes a deflection, and Turner has to tip it over the bar for a corner.
I think it was McKenzie. Yeah, he just goes down. It's going to hit him right in the chest, but just nods it, and Turner had to be sure of that. Palmer over the crossbar, but one of set pieces just so lethal.
In from De Bruyne, headed away by Tim Ream. De Kuiper's ball back out. De Bruyne loops it in back post. It's gone out off the head there of Anthony Robinson for a fourth Belgium corner, but the flag, I think, was up for offside.
I wonder if Cannellaro is going to rotate a little bit. I mean, he's just getting a little frustrated in that central position. It looks like he's onside there. You wonder if the referee thinks it affects that back line in an offside position. But just you can sense a little frustration with some of those top players. You wonder if they're going to start floating and trying to get the ball a little more in wide positions.
Ware forward down the right finds McKennie as Makala goes across to defend here. McKennie plays it back for Ware. Getting the bodies back quickly as Lomans, who has already made a couple of big saves to keep it scoreless right now, was able to clear downfield, picked up by Pulisic. And the ball breaks for Belgium here down the right with De Bruyne. Went off Tessman there and drops to the edge of the box for Salamakers to strike, and Turner able to get down. 27 clean sheets and 52 caps for the 31-year-old New England Revolution goalkeeper Matt Turner from Park Ridge, New Jersey. Ream.
This is smart from the U.S. to just get the tempo back on their side a little bit. was just leaking a little bit into a transition game, which I think plays into the favor of Belgium.
Halligan chasing forward as that one just rolls out of play. Halligan has been heavily involved for the United States of late. It's his 7th appearance in a row. He scored.